A collection presentation featuring rare Revolutionary War materials is among the highlights at Newberry Fest on July 18th. You can experience all that Newberry Library has to offer, including programs, exhibitions, tours, a book sale, and more at this free open house. Learn more and register at newberry.org.
Bloomington, Indiana's always been a town of lifelong learners. Lectures that run long. Dinner table debates that run longer. We're always studying something. But this year, the syllabus changed. We learned about blitzes and blocks, pick sixes and play action, and what the inside of that outside stadium looks like on a sunny Saturday afternoon. We may not always understand the whole thing, but man, if it isn't fun to learn. Visit Bloomington. Learn something new.
This is CityCast Chicago. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and here's what Chicago's talking about. My chatter question today is going to reference our video about the Taste of Chicago, which at the time this comes out will have just ended. A lot of people had thoughts. So I wanted to know, what's your Chicago hot take? That's my question. What do you got?
On Taste of Chicago?
No,
or
about
on
anything.
Chicago
Just
in
your
general?
Chicago hot take.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. My hot take is I think the pizza puff should supplant the Italian beef and the Chicago hot dog and all forms of pizza as the number one iconic food of Chicago. I think the pizza puff deserves everything and more.
We've talked briefly about the pizza puffs. I've still yet to try them, but I kind of think Italian beef is overrated. I love giardiniera. I will eat giardiniera on its own. I'm a big eating condiments on their own person. Not like ketchup and mustard. That would be weird, but like a jar of pickles or like anything pickled, anything olive. So giardiniera is great, but I don't know, wet beef on a hot day.
When you put it like that,
right?
That's what it is.
Leah has
Let's be honest.
A way of spinning a food phrase or two that ends up just living in my brain for the wet. I feel that. Jill, you got a hot take for us? You could stand food or you could leave it.
I think rainbow cone is gross.
Oh,
Jill, why?
I like that one. You just hit it. You just threw a straight hook. I don't know. I eat so much of it at this point. Taylor has to walk to the office a lot and walks past Rainbow Cone on Michigan all the time. And so I'm constantly getting like a Rainbow Cone cake slice. She dripping, taking down the cone. And so I've had more Rainbow Cone in the last couple years than I ever had in my life. And I'm not hard disagree. Hard disagree.
Why don't you like it?
I love ice cream. I love all of those flavors individually. I don't need them all in my mouth at the same time. And I don't appreciate being made to just lick up the whole side of this giant ice cream.
You said I'm not 4 years old anymore.
I'm not doing that. I don't need that.
Licking a long cone of ice cream,
all
wet
down
beef.
your arm.
Who are we? Those are contributors. Jill Hopkins. Jill, it's good to see you again.
Hi, Jacoby. Hi, Lee.
And Lee John Greco. Good to have you in the building, my friend.
Hey, Jill. Hey, Jacoby.
All right, it's not going to be all hot takes today. Today, we're talking about Chicago's immigrant street vendors, an update on who's running for mayor, but we're gonna throw a little quiz at it, right? And then the Shed Aquarium's whale-saving efforts. But Lee, we're going to start with Chicago street vendors. A few weeks ago, we talked about rising enforcement against them, but this isn't coming from the feds or the Department of Homeland Security. It sounds like the Chicago Police Department is handing out a lot of these arrests and citations. Kind of catch us up on what's been happening.
Yeah. So this story first ran in June in Chicago Tribune, and they were talking about how Chicago police were targeting street vendors, especially those on Michigan Avenue, that kind of loop area. Because technically, while you can have a licensed street vendor in many other parts of Chicago, the area along Michigan Avenue is prohibited. But it's kind of always been one of those things where, if you ever walk by the Art Institute and the park in that area, you'll see people selling mangoes and different things there, ice cream, that kind of thing. And I think people were just kind of like turning a blind eye to it. And it was just accepted as like, okay, yeah, street vendors are here. But then this summer, for whatever reason, Chicago police started targeting these street vendors, giving them fines, taking away their carts. And so then last week, Block Club Chicago reported that a Cook County judge, at the request of the city attorney, dismissed at least 19 vendors who had been arrested for operating a cart in a prohibited area without a license. So the law department said, following a review of the evidence, the city determined the cases should be dismissed pursuant to prosecutorial discretion. So, this is really interesting because Block Club reached out to CPD and the law department. They didn't respond for comment about, like, why are these arrests going up? Why are Chicago police targeting these vendors?
And why give out these citations and arrests if the courts are just going to throw them out, and it's putting already vulnerable people in a really precarious situation, since we know immigration arrests have picked up at courthouses.
Yes, exactly, Jacoby. And we know that ICE arrests in general have been going up as well. Everybody talks about Operation Midway Blitz, but now Chicago is experiencing this kind of quieter version of Operation Midway Blitz. The Trump administration, ICE, Border Patrol, they're not coming out with all these social media videos and everything promoting it. They're just going out into the neighborhoods in Chicago and targeting immigrants. So in that previous Chicago Tribune article, a spokesperson for the Chicago Parks District said the Chicago Police Department is coordinating with Chicago Park Public Safety and the Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection to, quote, reduce unauthorized concession operations on park property. The police department also just told the Tribune that they, quote, enforce all laws, including laws related to peddling and unlicensed vendors. But again, that spokesperson didn't respond to questions about the enforcement strategy or any details about the specific arrests. So, again, the timing on this is really odd, and it is weird that on the one hand, you have Mayor Brandon Johnson, coming out and saying how terrible these recent ICE arrests are, but then on the other hand, his police department is cracking down on people and putting them in a situation where, like you said, they could become more vulnerable to those very ICE operations.
Have we heard anything from city council about making it easier for street vendors to get a license? We know that Chicago has some pretty strict rules around vendors, but also food trucks that I know back in 2019, there was a proposal to streamline the process, which was ultimately pushed down. And some people argue that, Chicago's restaurant lobby is kind of really responsible for those difficult laws. The city council tried to step in, as there is a growing presence of street vendors in the city.
Yeah, like you said, going back to 2019, actually, Mayor Lori Lightfoot proposed an ordinance that would replace this temporary emerging business permit with permanent licensing. So that would just reduce the burden of, these like repeated renewals that vendors have to go through, and just give them more legitimacy throughout Chicago. That has stalled in city council. Obviously, the Street Vendor Association and other advocates are still pushing for its passage. Unclear whether, this uptick is going to renew that effort at all. I haven't seen anything specifically that talks about maybe changing this like prohibited area, for instance. I was just thinking about this the other day. I feel like a lot of times when you are walking around that area in the Loop on Michigan Avenue, like my friend and I came out of the Art Institute on a Friday, it closes at 5 p.m., right? And we were like, okay, too early to get dinner, too late to get lunch. We would love a snack right now. street vendor would be perfect for that, right? Just like a little mango or whatever. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, is a street vendor really competing with a brick and mortar place? In the same way that I think like, is a food truck necessarily competing with like Tom Tunney's and Sather's, right?
I think holding back street vendors is keeping a lot of just culture out of Chicago, for one thing. I mean, it's part of what makes walking around in New York City tolerable. Is just the the music, the sounds, the smells, the tastes. I would love to, like you said, get a mango on one corner, a hot dog on another.
Yeah, and you're ultimately putting for people, for the federal government who's been running with this set of lies and talking points that they're going after the worst of the worst. We talked about the data a little bit last week. Some 60% of people arrested, no criminal charges, no criminal record. And here you go putting a potential rap sheet on somebody, giving somebody a record that may, without it may have otherwise kept them off of the federal government's radar. Again, they have been just snatching up people where they can, dating back to Operation Midway Blitz and before. But in this case, you're making a person even more likely to, be on the other side of an ICE agent.
Yeah. And all for just minding the business that keeps their families fed.
Yeah. And not saying anything is odd, not explaining why, because this had to be a directive. You explain why we see more police officers on the train, right? And more of these canine units, right? Why are people doing this? To whose benefit is this? Again, I understand enforcing public health, like and things like that, but taking people's carts, taking people's livelihoods away from them, giving them arrests, finding them, explain why.
Since when in this administration are we caring about public health? There's diarrhea lettuce on the streets.
At least I'd understand, but at least we could start a conversation about why that's your justification and what data is showing you that an uptick in street vendors is leading to, more people getting sick or this, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, where did this decision making coming from? And for everyone to be mums right now during this moment is concerning.
I think also to the point of like people doing it the right way, right? The Tribune story had also noted that during recent sweeps, vendors with licenses had also been arrested and ticketed. That's according to the Street Vendor Association. They talked to one of these street vendors, Margarita Garcia. She'd been selling tamales on 26th Street for almost 20 years. And despite showing police her license, they issued her a $200 ticket. So, that doesn't really make sense either. Why are you issuing tickets to people who have licenses? Or, maybe if there's even someone who has a license, but they're operating in that prohibited part of Michigan Avenue, why are the police not just telling them to go move somewhere else or something? Why are they taking away the car? Why are they issuing these huge fines? It just seems really egregious. Like the punishment doesn't really fit the crime, right? So yeah, but at the very least, I think the city owes an explanation to say why they're doing this all of a sudden.
Yeah. I know we got some city hall staffers, some police district council members who listen to the show. If y'all want to help us with the research to try and find some of these answers, I would really appreciate it.
When's the last time you took a good road trip? Windows down, music up, just hours away from your favorite people. It's one of the biggest travel trends right now, and it's the Heart of the Wish You Were Here guide just dropped by Destination Madison. This getaway guide will inspire you to plan the kind of feel-good getaway everyone needs more of right now. A real visit with family and friends. So if you know someone who lives in Madison, Wisconsin, you're going to want to drop them a postcard that starts with, "Wish I were there." When you meet up in Madison between now and October 30th, you'll have a chance to win one of 6 themed prize packages that include dining gift cards, hotel stays, Badger merch, and more. Destination Madison has made it easy by providing postcard invites, itinerary ideas, and packing lists so you can focus on having fun together. So stop missing friends and family and start inviting. Go to visitmadison.com/wish to plan your getaway today.
So it seems like every other day we are letting y'all know about a new candidate jumping into the race for mayor. Now, they can't actually start collecting signatures to get on the ballot until the end of the month. And to be honest, most of their platforms aren't that detailed yet, so we can't get too far into what they might actually do as mayor. But it's a lot of names, so we've designed a little quiz to see what we do know about some of these candidates. We're currently working from the reader's list of candidates that's been updating, and for every question, y'all are going to tell me which candidates meet the criteria, so it'll be multiple correct answers for most of the questions. If y'all want to guess right now, how many confirmed candidates do we have? Just a number.
10-ish?
I was about to say like 9. I feel like, okay, Quigley, Stanton, that cardiac doctor whose name I'm forgetting right now.
Maria Pappas.
I mean, she said she's going to run. Are we counting her? She hasn't had an
officially launched, right?
Announcement.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like not counting her. Cardenas.
The comptroller.
Yeah, Mendoza. That's a huge one. Willie Wilson, is he officially announced?
No, not yet. Unconfirmed.
Not yet. Okay,
It's only a matter of time. You'll see the billboard.
You'll see it soon. I already said Quigley. I know I'm missing a bunch.
So you're getting close. It's about 9 or 10 with a list of overall somewhere about 14. And so one name I don't think I heard is the answer to this first question. Who was the first candidate to jump in the race? Hint, they did it back in October of 2025.
Oh my God. But not Stan. Oh, isn't it like Joe with an H?
Yes,
right?
Joe Holberg.
Like yes, thank you. I knew there was a Berg there. I was like, Heidelberg? What is his last name again?
I think a former teacher, entrepreneur, business owner. The platform that I've seen most notably was just like, we're in a crisis right now. The city's budgets, finances are in a disaster. But based off the conversation I had with our friend Alex Nitkin from the Illinois Answers Project, I think we're going to all have to ask a lot of questions about what that looks like. Cities' finances are in a crisis, pension debts are rising, major budget deficits. Like, what does it actually look like for you to solve these crises? And so that's a lot of questions I have for not just Holberg, but a lot of people. So let's go on to our next question. Which candidates have previously held elected office? Obviously, this is a multiple choice, and you can go with the confirmed and unconfirmed for your answer here.
Oh, okay. Well, Pappas, Quigley, and Mendoza.
Yep.
Cardenas.
Yep.
Let me think who else has announced.
Mendoza, you said first.
Yeah.
As a state rep, then city clerk, then state comptroller. Pappas, first as a member of the Cook County Board, has been county treasurer since 98. You said Cardenas, right? Former 12th Ward Alder, Cook County Board of Review member. You said Quigley, Cook County Board of Commish, became a U.S. rep in 2009 during a special election to replace Rum.
On the CHA.
Whole lot going on there.
Does that count?
Who was the other one?
Brewer. He was CHA.
Not elected by us. Not elected by us.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about Brewer. Totally forgot. We talked about him on the show the other day. Or the other week.
You got 3 more, and all are unconfirmed. And so.
Oh, unconfirmed.
Yeah.
Okay. Alexi Janulius.
For sure. State treasurer. Then Secretary of State.
Alderman Bill Conway. Are we counting him as unconfirmed? I mean, he has a big war chest.
The current mayor?
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
the current mayor. He said he's not going to announce yet.
Before that, obviously, a Cook County commissioner. So yeah, that's all of them. And then everyone else has either been an appointed person or is like running as like a business leader or community or healthcare provider, like a doctor. There's a couple of those.
Yeah.
Which candidates were not born in Chicago?
Ooh.
Oh, wait. Well, speaking of the mayor, he was born in Elgin, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
True.
Cardenas migrated here as well
Born in
when he was
Durango, Mexico.
Yep, yeah.
Did go to high school here, Lane Tech.
Quigley's from Wisconsin, right? Is that why he's a Packers fan?
I think Indianapolis. Born in
Okay.
Indianapolis.
I know. I'm like, he's not. I'm like, if he had been born in Chicago, he wouldn't be a Packers fan. I'm like, why is he? I'm just thinking, like, he's a Packers fan.
Maybe the
so
people
he
out in
can't be
Carroll
from
Stream,
here.
Illinois, where he grew up, is Packers fans.
Okay, yeah.
What
So
about the conservative Danielle Walters? she's
which
trying
one
to-
is she?
She's, if I'm remembering correctly, she's the one that's trying to flip the city.
She's the
red.
co-founder of Chicago Flips Red. Yes,
Is
that's
she
Danielle
running
Carter
too?
Walters. Yes, they are running.
Oh, good. Wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think she said she's born and raised in Chicago.
Remember the last time we all spoke, and Lee, I think you're like, what's the thing about asking where you went to high school?
Yeah.
That's where you ask where someone went to high school, because now I need to know where that one went to school.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. That's a good point. It's a way of screening somebody.
A couple other people that y'all have mentioned already in other answers who also weren't born in Chicago.
Pappas?
Yes, born in
She's not from here?
Virginia.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
she gives us
Interesting.
such Chicago energy, though, with her little baton.
Yeah. How long has she been here?
I think came here, I'm
Interesting.
gonna say came here for school.
She does have like a Chicago accent, though.
She
does.
been here- I mean, how old is Maria Pappas?
I don't know. Like, how do you develop an accent after college? That's what I want to know.
She's 77 years old.
So
And
yeah, she's
so-
got 50 years of Chicago under
Yeah.
her. Getting rid of one and just becoming like a flat
Yeah.
Midwestern accent
Right.
or something, but to develop like a hate air, hide air,
Mhm.
hold air kind of thing is
Yeah, that's odd. That's actually
Y'all
a
said she
little
code
sus.
switching. I mean,
Yeah.
she's been here
I
since
mean-
the 70s. The 70s
I
at this
mean,
point.
sure.
Mm,
I got no beef with Papa.
I'm
not trying to start-
That's a little.
I like a little
I am
Al
gonna
Scorch
start
put on
something.
accent a little bit, but
I mean, as somebody who has tried and failed to get rid of their Buffalo accent,
Mhm.
I kind of have a beef with people who put on an accent. I feel like it's stolen valor in a way.
The last person is Holberg, who was born in Lansing, Michigan. After graduating college, came to work as a teacher on the West Side. And then Willie Wilson was born in Louisiana before he came to Chicago and became a McDonald's millionaire.
A McDonald's.
I think we actually, my last question was going to be which ones haven't we mentioned yet? But I think at some point we got into pretty much all of these. We mentioned Matthew Brewer, CHA board commish, attorney, co-owner of the Wiener Circle. Y'all brought up Danielle Carter, the co-founder of Chicago Flips Red. We mentioned Lisa Need, the cardiologist and VA whistleblower. Let's see who more.
Did we talk about Tony Brooks?
No, we did not talk about LaTonya Tony Brooks. We didn't.
She's from Chicago. This all seems like so much work to just
Yeah.
Mhm.
gather the resources to run for mayor. And then you look around and you're like one of 12 people doing it. And also, I always think if you want to be mayor of a city like Chicago, there's got to be something fundamentally
Mhm.
power
Wrong with you?
I mean, just to be a politician in general, I think people start with good intentions, but once you stay in the game for a long time, things start to change within you.
It wears
Yeah.
down on you from everything I've heard and read. Tony Brooks, like you mentioned, was born and raised in Chicago, served in the National Guard, before getting their master's at Carbondale. And they currently serve on the board of Community Preparedness and Violence Prevention nonprofit Rescue 8 and leads the Tony Brooks Foundation. And so we got a mixed bag in here. Politicians at the state level, city level, some business leaders, confirmed and unconfirmed, and at least a couple of, it looks like people from the organizing space or nonprofit space, I should say. So yeah, it is a lot of people, a lot of work. We're going to be following this entire process. But yeah, we're going to do our best, y'all, between the podcast and the newsletter to keep you updated on every person who's in the race. And as they start to flesh out these platforms, we will be here to ask some of the tough questions. And so we will drop links in the show notes if you want to keep track of this ever-growing list. Before we get out of here, Gio, something you put on my radar, the amount of beluga whales at the shared aquarium could be going up. Right now, there are 8, but they're working on a major conservation project. Fill me in here.
Yeah, we could go from 8 to 18 whales, which is a lot of whales for any one place. There were
That's a lot of whales.
I mean, we're only one of, I think, 6 places that are certified.
How can it hold that many whales? Are they going to just like throw them in the lake? What's happening?
There's a 3 million gallon enclosure tank at the Shed Aquarium. It's the Abbott Oceanarium. And we are one of 4 places that these 30 plus beluga whales that are in need of a new home after their home in Niagara Falls, the Canadian Marine World, which is your old stomping grounds.
Marine Land. Don't get it mixed up with SeaWorld, which is another blackfish thing. But yeah.
Another blackfish thing. I mean, but SeaWorld, there's 2 different SeaWorlds in the United States that are also on this short list to take some of these whales. SeaWorld in San Antonio and in San Diego, and the aquarium in Georgia are all throwing their hats in the ring because this enclosure in Ontario, Canada, has shut down after the owners passed away. The place closed to the public, but as it turns out, that place was one of those blackfish places where animal negligence and cruelty were happening. So these other places have stepped up, and there's a doctor, Dr. Carissa Tang from the Shed Aquarium. She heads up the veterinary medical program there. She said the Shed is the place to give these whales the best possible life because of the size of the aquarium itself, but also because of the level of care in which they will get. And I think this brings up a really important thing when we talk about aquariums versus places that are theme parks that happen to have whales, right? This is an educational, research, medical-based facility where, yeah, sure, kids can go there and have a good time, but the point is to take care of these animals, as opposed to some place where the point is the roller coaster, and also, I guess, here's a dolphin show. Like, that's a problem.
Honestly, I kind of need to hear that because sometimes I do, when I'm talking flippantly about, Chicago's huge museums, I do look at the Shed and I'm like, how is that not just, what makes that different? I know the conservation efforts and stuff, but I sometimes ask myself,
because they have a dolphin show too.
Yeah. I'm like, they be in there jumping to, I think, feeding a mackerel, whatever the case may be. I don't know.
Yeah, they do tricks. They have a whole thing, and it's like very theatrical. So yeah, I also had that same question. And yeah, to your earlier point, as a child, frequented Marine Land a lot. Ontario's literally next door to Buffalo, so those commercials ran all the time for Marine Land. And yes, it was a theme park, but it was also like they had like huge areas for wild, like you'd feed deer, and there were all these bears, which apparently
Did you know?
Okay, I was like probably the oldest that I was when I went to Marine Land was like 13. I will say, as a kid, you're like, oh, cool, whales. But yeah, there was always that like feeling in your head as a kid where you're like, should they be in this enclosure? But I didn't. I heard on BEZ this morning when they said like, oh, they're getting these whales from Ontario. And I'm like, hang on, how many places in Ontario have whales. And then I open up the AP and I'm like, Marineland
No.
had animal cruelty this whole time?
I mean, how many millennial kids were radicalized by Free Willy?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
It's the
Everybody
thing
wanted to be a marine biologist in the 90s.
that,
That was a real thing.
yeah. And how many kids took a museum class in your high school and they're just like, yep, I'm going to go to the museum and learn about whales and then I'll be back for the softball game later. They're just like, you can do that?
Yeah.
That's a life you can live as a kid in Chicago? That's amazing. But I mean, this is great for the shed because it kind of gives them an opportunity to further prove their worth to the marine veterinary community. It's great that whales will have someplace to live. And it's great for the city. Anybody who is interested in learning more about these very silly looking, but somehow still very majestic animals.
I've spent a lot of time on the Shed's website this morning learning about the daily water testing they do. You mentioned the 3 million gallon, what is it called?
Oceanarium. The
Oceanarium.
Yeah, they
Not
said
an aquarium?
a robust animal enrichment program. They get to play with hundreds of different items, restaurant quality, nutritious seafood. So I wonder what that actually means. But
What
the idea
No,
that they have
that's-
8 and said, hey, we can take on 10 more. I mean, I
Nearly
already knew their
20
capacity.
whales
They
is
carried out a
lot.
whole beluga surgery last year and had 30 doctors total, with some flying in from around the country. So I knew they had a huge capacity to care for them. And I have learned more over the last few years about how that care looks different than just like putting them on a daily circus tract. But I didn't know that they had that much capacity over at the Shed Aquarium. And so, yeah, the timeline right now, Jill, it sounds like it's not locked down, but it does sound like we are getting some.
Yes, we are looking at the next few months. So they want to
Okay.
get this done before the end of the summer, if possible, because the logistics, as you can imagine, of moving close to a dozen whales from Ontario, Canada to the Midwest.
Wait, I never even thought of that. How is that? Is it by like,
So
you don't put them in a plane? What do you do?
They do. Well, yeah,
I think they do.
They do put they have those slings, those big whale-sized slings, and they swim into the slings, and their little flippers go out the side, and then they lift them out of the pool and lift them into like
A holding tank.
a holding tank. Yeah, and then those holding tanks go on those giant cargo planes swishing around.
Which
imagine.
are shaped, some of them are shaped like beluga
They
whales,
are
by the
shaped
way.
like belugas. It's very meta.
We heard you like whales, so we put a whale in your whale.
They said you were the best.
yeah.
They said there will be vets and caretakers with them the entire time. And so, yeah, thank you for putting this on my radar. It sent me down a beluga hole.
Whoa.
I tried to get
See
in
what
there.
you did there.
I tried to get in there with you. You feel
There
me?
you go.
Simone's writing something. She probably heads it. Yeah. No, she said wet meat, licking cones, beluga hole. She said
Beluga
that's the
hole.
title of said episode.
People are going to be like, why every episode there's like wet meat, wet eggs?
I got to give a huge thank you to our guest today, Jill Hopkins. We appreciate you making time today.
Thanks for having me.
And Lee John Greco. Till next time, my G.
Thanks for having me, Jacoby. Save the whales.
For everybody else, head over to chicago.citycast.fm. Subscribe to our daily newsletter and check out our events calendar. I'm so excited for everybody who is coming to the Den tonight to see the Moth live. Come with a 5-minute story prepared about revenge. Put your name in the hat, and then come get on stage with me. I'll be your host this Monday. Jill, when you gonna be hosting the Moth next? You know?
I just did last Monday, so I don't think I'm back until August.
Okay, well, hey, I'll keep people updated. You know, I can't let you go without some good news. The Sky are home on Wednesday against the Seattle Storm, and then Thursday, the Fire are back against Vancouver at Soldier Field. I'm going to drop links for you in the show notes. As always, I appreciate you for listening and reading. We're going to be back bright and early tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. Peace.